Yo, party people in the place to be. What's good? It's number one chief rocking Knicks universe main man, Uncle Freezie, and we are here for a 12-minute segment, right? Asking the question: should the Knicks lower their sights at the trade deadline? Accompanying me here for this 12-minute segment is one of the co-hosts of the Blorange Tears channel. You know, he hosts sometimes the Nick and Night podcast and other joints. It's Cowboy Bob. Cowboy Bob, what's good, bro?
Salute. Good afternoon, everybody. Good evening. Good evening.
So I'm gonna ask you really quickly, man. Just before we get in depth, I just have to ask this simple question: should the Knicks lower their sights at the trade deadline?
Yes, I think we should. We need to lower it because there are more than one or two pieces we actually need. I think there's a collection of pieces we need.
Okay, okay. So by lowering the sights at the trade deadline, are you assuming that by lowering the sights, you can add maybe one or two pieces to the bench, maybe three pieces to the bench, extend the quality depth of the bench? Is that what and just reserve the big game hunting for the offseason?
Yes, because at this point, the only thing we're losing out on is health. If we had Randall and OG, the defense and everything would change. So if we can actually hold what we're doing with a stronger bench and they come back, that gives us the support we need and it covers all our bases. And it's next man up mentality anyway, right?
Okay. 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 So by lowering the sights, what would you suggest? Like what type of player, before we get into names, what type of players would you suggest the Knicks lower their sights for? Like what player archetype?
I would be looking for a center to help out with the reboundings because we've had issues with our losses with second chance rebounding on offense. I would be looking for a facilitator or a pass creator because what happens is when Brunson isn't in there, they seem to track DiVincenzo and our other facilitators real well. And right now, with Randall not being here, we need someone that can do that. And as well as a wing defender, that's like a plus or minus. If we can get a wing defender right there to cover for OG till he gets back, that we're clicking. We're not missing on anything. And the center also backs up iHeart because he's still technically hurt and is in foul trouble.
Okay. 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 All right. So with that said, is there a specific player that you have in mind at the center position?
There is, but like the player style I want is like a veteran, like a Zach Collins type of guy. Even though that we may not be able to get him, I would want someone like that. I remember you saying Valanciunas from New Orleans. I would go out and get him because that guy can give us what we need. He's in a contract year, plus he's going to give us double double. He's going to
Right.
help us with our rebounding. As far as our facilitator, I've said Tyus Jones because of the draft pick. But what we really want is a Mike Conley kind of guy that
Right.
could just come off the bench and just give you what you need. Whether you need scoring, whether you need passing, he's just quiet and does it that way. So I would say Tyus Jones because it's nothing more than a draft pick.
Right,
But
but hey, but before we do the point guard position though, you
yeah,
mentioned a
sorry.
center, right?
Yeah,
And the
Valanciunas.
Valanciunas thing,
Mm-hmm.
Valanciunas I think makes about 22-ish mil a year or something like. I can't remember the number exactly, but you would definitely have to send Evan Fournier
Coordinator and a draft
in,
pick.
in that trade. Are you comfortable sending away Evan Fournier for an expiring contract and also sending a draft pick to New Orleans?
Yeah, yes, because if it gives us what we need to back up iHeart when he gets in the foul trouble or so he could rest his injury, it'll help us down the road. Yes, because if we win a championship, no one's going to complain about it. Or even if we get to the finals, no one's going to complain about it. So
Okay.
yeah, I'll do that trade.
Okay. Okay. Is there any other center out there that you might be interested in outside of Valanciunas? But maybe
Not
what's the center in Charlotte? The
oh,
center in Charlotte, the guy that played with Emmanuel Nick Richards. Would you be
Nick
interested in
Richards.
Nick Richards?
Yes, actually yes, because
Okay.
all we really need is just a guy to control the boards. Nick
Right.
Richards is actually good with boxing out, and he contests shots. So yeah, a guy like that, that's perfect. Like I even
Okay.
heard just to throw it out there, like even if he's available, I know they said they were going to, but Nick Claxton, like if we could get a guy like that, because the Nets are looking to rebuild, but they said either him or Bridges they're gonna move off of, from what I heard. I don't know if it's true, but if they are, but yeah,
Okay.
get a Nick Claxton.
All right. And so to your point guard point, the
Mm-hmm.
Mike Conley is probably unavailable since
Yes.
Minnesota is not going to trade their starting point guard, seeing that they're a potential NBA Finals type team, right? Is there any other point guard that's a borderline starter, borderline bench guy that you could see the Knicks trading for, but after they lower their sights, maybe pay like a bargain price for?
At that guard position, because it's very difficult to be finite on it, but I would actually go outside of Tyus Jones because he's cheap. But if we're gonna go ahead and risk it a little bit more and like let's say get rid of Grimes and a draft pick, I'd go after Alex Caruso because what he can contribute right now as far as defense and as far as ball control, man, I would either go after him and we would be fine because we can also use him as a wing defender mixed in with Josh Hart as well. And he could pick up that slack of the wing defender that OG has, as well as
Wait a
on
minute. So
ball.
what type of point guard are you talking about? It could be,
No,
are
no,
you talking
I'm
about a
saying if
distributor? Are you talking about a
yeah, a
distributor?
distributor that plays defense like a Tyus Jones, Alex Caruso, like that type of guy who's coming in to facilitate and control the offense and make sure everybody's involved and create floor spacing. That type of point guard.
Right.
But like I said, like you said, since Mike Conley he's not available, I would say I would go after Caruso if Tyus Jones isn't available.
Right. Right.
Those two are my guards.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I would throw another name in the mix, and it's not a popular name, right? It's not a
Mm-hmm.
popular name, but I
Mm-hmm.
would throw in Killian Hayes, right?
Ooh.
Because Killian Hayes' defense would thrive in a Tom Thibodeau offense. He doesn't offer you any offense at all, right? At all.
Mm-hmm.
But he is a decent playmaker, passer that just can't score, right? I think Tom Thibodeau would take him and turn him into a Matisse Thybulle type defender at the point guard position. And I personally think he would be very, very cheap. And he's young,
I,
right? And he's young. But to you, I think you mentioned. Did you mention a wing player?
yes, I somewhat of a wing player, and that's actually a good idea that you said that name.
Okay. Well, what wing player did you have in mind?
I was thinking more of, and I hate to say it, but I was thinking of a guy like Bridges, but then I thought about it. He's not available because I've been hearing that name so much from the Nets that the Knicks can get him. But then I'm like, I don't think the Nets are going to trade him. But like that's him, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy the third. Maybe we get somebody like those type of guys because we just need someone to cover the defense for OG. And I think that you saying Hayes,
Right.
that would help out a lot because now you can have Hayes focused on rebounding, which helps out with Precious down low when we doing the secondary team, and it also helps out Hart. That's actually a good add-on. Plus, if you don't like him this year, him and Grimes next year, you could trade with
So,
draft picks for the trade.
okay. Okay. So give me your ideal player at each one of those spots that you mentioned. The point guard, that's a pure point guard and
Mm-hmm.
defender that'll fit. The wing player that'll fit, and the center that you'll fit. And just give me all three of your ideal fits you think at the trade deadline.
Tyus Jones, point guard. Valanciunas, the center. That wing player.
Can I
I'm
interest
gonna
you in
say
some?
Hayes. I'm gonna
Can I
say Hayes.
interest you in some Kelly Oubre from Philadelphia?
If he's available, yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
because the object is to replace OG's defense and what he contributes to where when he comes back, we have two of those, and on top of that, it keeps us where we're at to where we know what we have. Yes, Kelly Oubre would be perfect. Plus, he could shoot the long ball better than Hart.
Right.
Yes, and he could ball. Yeah, him and Hart would feed off of each other. Precious could. Yeah, the way that's looking, that would be perfect.
All right. So to wrap up, I just want to ask you this one question since we have about 90 seconds left. Um, um, what are your expectations for the Knicks front office by this time tomorrow?
Two moves at least, the very least. One is probably gonna be a move of money with Fournier, and we probably gonna have like a low pick, like a low player. But then I think about two moves. It's gonna be a good medium and a low player move. They're gonna try to shuffle around some money and wait till, let's say, Thursday 3 o'clock, like last minute to pull off a trade. Or they probably have it now and it's in holding, like what happened with OG. OG's trade was in holding for a couple of days before it even became public. So I think they got something in the motions. They're gonna pull off two trades at the very least.
Okay. Okay. Well, there you have it, everybody. Uncle Freezie, Cowboy Bob, trade deadline conversations. Just asking one of the important questions that need to be asked in the conversations that Knicks fans have right before the trade deadline. Subscribe to the channel, hit the
Go New
like
York, go
button.
New York, go.
Keep your eye out for Knicks freestyle coming your way at 7:30. Those dudes are chomping at the bit. We are under 12 minutes, Cowboy Bob, and we are out of here. Peace,
Salute,
everybody.
salute. Peace.